Alright, so we got the thumb drive plugged in. Let's go ahead and open it up. So we have a couple folders. Looks like one in English and one in Chinese. Look, the English one. So we got a G code here. It's actually for this here. Not sure exactly what that's for, but probably for something. So here we have the slicer folder and the user manual folder. So it looks like that's in different languages here. Alright, so this is the English one. So this is a manual to get you familiarized with the printer and obviously how to unpack it and put it together. Just quite straightforward, to be honest. And then the first power on, loading filament, and printing. And here we have the software installation. So let's go ahead and go to the slicer. So we have for Mac and Windows, and also looks like another PDF that goes through how to use it. It should be pretty straightforward. Let's go to Mac. So we got this DMG file. I'm going to double click it. Then we're going to drag this to the applications, and that's how you install it on a Mac. So that's pretty quick, not too large, and that's it. We can exit that out. So as simple as that, we should be installed. If we go to our applications, we can see it. Go ahead and open it up. So it's got this little welcome wizard. We can go through that here, or you can skip it on the bottom. So I'm just going to skip it here. Here we can see our printer, the S1, and these are all the printers they have. Let's click next. Filament selection. So here you can kind of be decisive on what kind of filament you want to use. So everything's checked. We'll leave it the way it is. So it's telling us there's a newer version available. So it doesn't look like it affects our printer. So let's just exit this out for now. So this is what the slicer looks like. This is kind of like its homepage with a marketplace, I guess. And you can log in. If we click on prepare, that's going to be our printer here. But before we do anything, we need to find our printer. In the printer section here, we need to choose our S1 Cobra, and that's going to give us our layout there. And on here on the top right corner, we can see it says slice plate and remote print. So let's go ahead and throw a model in there. So I'm just going to throw something a little more simple like this tree frog. So all your settings are here, and we can see we have this preset here that's on standard, and you can choose that from, smaller nozzle or larger nozzle. We do also have this advanced button, which you might want to click because it gives you a lot more options under the settings. So obviously, you can go through this and figure out what you want and what you don't. The standard should work out of the box as it's calibrated just for this printer, and then you can kind of adjust it as you go. I do like to change my wall to 3 though instead of 2, as it makes the print look a little nicer. So we can manipulate the model here. The menu bar on the top, like move, rotate, scale, all that stuff is available. Obviously you can scale it different axes. Lay on face actually gives you faces, which is kind of cool. You can cut the model, do all kinds of other stuff here. So in order to see more options for painting the model and all that stuff, we do have to connect to the printer, as here it says our Ace Pros not available. So let's throw in something kind of complicated like this little octopus here. You guys can see here on the top, we're on the prepare, we got preview and then workbench, which is our printer. Here you can see normally when the printer does connect, it knows that it has the Ace Pro, but it didn't come up. So what you can do is just add it by clicking this little plus here. So now we can have 5 filaments, and then you can adjust it here of what it is and how it will be used. Let's see, we can delete that, yeah. So I entered the 4 here, as you guys can see, just Anycubic PLA, 1, 2, 3, 4, and obviously you can edit that. The slicer is actually really good at so much detail. The build type, for some reason, says smooth, even though we have the PEI. It doesn't let me choose anything else at the moment. Here you can try the flush into object infill. I haven't tried that yet, but that should be pretty interesting. And also we do have selected into supports it can flush into. So whenever it's changing the filament, instead of wasting it to a blob, it can kind of use it in the infill or the supports. So that would be an interesting thing to try there. Let's see, I just turned off the brim. Basically it goes straight to printing without brim. And since the build plate sticks so well, I'm not too worried, and it's primed, ready to go right up from the start. Go here back to the model, and I can show you guys the coolest part about multicolor printing is that you can click on this color painting here, and here we can choose which filaments we want to use, and then the type of tool we're using here. So I really like the fill, and if you use the smart fill slider here to go pretty high degree angle, depending on the part, it does really good. So let's say we want our tips to be green here. So if I just click on that, you guys can see it paints it green, and we just go around and paint this thing, whatever we want. And because it's smart, it kind of cuts it out. Let's see if I can get closer here. You guys can see it really, cuts out the piece or how it goes on the inside, since it's not connected to each other. So it actually works very well, and you can get quite creative with what you want to do. So let's say for this main head here, let's say we want the violet purple. So I'll just select the color here and then click on it, and you guys can see it all completely becomes that color. So yeah, we can leave the feet either blue like that, or maybe we can go back to the green and stagger these. That'll probably look pretty cool. Anyways, you can get quite creative with how you want to do it. you know, depending on the model, it'll be easier or harder. Like here, you guys can see, you know, everything's just painted one color. Oops. But you can come in here, let's say a peach color here, and we'll choose a sphere, and then we can kind of paint. And, you know, if you want to be more precise, like here, we're kind of a little messy. But, you know, the closer you get, the more precise you can be. But we can, you know, give them like these little eyes here, and maybe a nose, or whatever that thing is, a mouth. But, you know, this is more like painting skill, I guess. But as you can see, you can get quite detailed with it and make pretty interesting things. Maybe I'll fix this mouth over here a little better. Or maybe I'll just make the front of the mouth, the nose, whatever that is. That looks decently good, I guess. Again, not perfect, but it will work. So again, you got to remember that the more differentials between the two colors you got, the more retractions we get, then the more it's going to get into printing time on this thing. So let's say if we are done with this, slice the print here, or slice plate, and it's going to give us all of the parameters for each filament here separately, and then the totals here, which is 93 grams, not too bad. So it's going to change 145 times, and it says it's going to take 7 hours. So I'm not sure if I believe that. Last time, whatever it said, it went over a bit, so probably maybe closer to 8 or a little more, I don't know. But in any case, that's how long it would take to print this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and print it, as it looks quite unique. That should be pretty fun to print. And you can see where our seam is right here. It actually just shows you the seam. So maybe we're not happy with that, and we can actually change that if we go back to prepare here and see if we can search seam position. So here we have seam, and it says aligned, and we can do that to nearest, random, back. Maybe let's do back and see what that looks like. So we'll reslice it, and now you guys can see the seam move to the back. And I think I'm going to keep it like that, so that way we want to have a clean face there in the front. And for multicolor printing, you know, you can adjust the tower, the purge, and all that stuff all in the settings there. So, but yeah, so normally what you would do now is just send it to the printer to print. But since we're having trouble with that, here if you click on this little arrow here, you can see it says remote print. You can even upload it to the cloud, so you have it always available to you from the cloud. Or you can just export the G file, is what I have here, or the G code. And if we click it, it's going to create us a G code of this file or this project. And then we can throw it in our thumb drive that was included. And it's going to pop up here. So my Bamboo Lab slicer is taking over the computer icons there, so that's why you can see that. But yeah, it's basically a G code file. And there we go. So now we can take this thumb drive, eject it, and take it to the printer and print it out. And as simple as that, that's pretty much how you slice and print. And when you're ready to do a new one, you just click back on prepare. And if you want to delete this whole project, just select it and click delete. And you can throw new files in there or folders and start working on them. So if you don't have filament that is correlated with your Ace Pro, you can change the color here just by clicking on the color and then adjusting it to any color you want. So I just kind of chose these colors here, what I had, since I don't have no communication between the two. But if you have Anycubic PLA, it's going to all show up here. If you're using, you know, generic PLA or other brands, you will have to set the color for it if you want to know, you know, what is what, so you don't get confused, especially when you're painting. But yeah, it'll be correlating with the Ace Pro with the 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, hopefully this made sense and it was useful to get you started with this thing.